Welcome to this orientation webinar. Thank you for making time to listen. My name is Sarah Bryn-Johnson.
Hello, I'm Jen Marland.
And we're going to introduce you today to the new myFuture leaver offer, along with our outplacement partners, LHH, which stands for Lee Hecht Harrison. A dedicated team was pulled together, which Jen and I were part of, to develop an enhanced offer for the start of Reinvent BP. And we've both been working in that team and partnering with LHH. And at this point, I'm just going to hand over to Gemma to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Gemma Rice, and I'll look forward to talking to you about our service a little later on in the webinar.
Thanks so much, Gemma. So we're going to turn our cameras off now for the remainder of the session so that you can focus on the content that we want to share. So before we dive into that content and detail, we just want to take a moment to acknowledge at the very beginning of this session that we recognise that this is a really difficult time for all of you listening. Some of you may have decided this is the right time for you to choose to leave BP. And for many, you're not leaving BP through your own choice. We are very conscious many will be feeling very unsettled by this prospect. It is hard to find the right tone here to deliver the messages we want to get across today, and we are so very sorry that you are leaving BP and recognise it is a difficult time to say goodbye. Saying goodbye is never easy, and it's complicated further by the COVID restrictions we are all coping with. BP feels it's really important to do the right thing to support you and have gone above and beyond the normal support in order to give you the best possible chance to succeed in a future outside of BP. Caring about our people and treating everyone fairly and respectfully is important to us. In addition to the generous severance package BP has always had, we've launched myFuture, a programme of tools, resources and support to help navigate the next stage in your career or the next phase of your life. Today, during this session, we will be sharing those details. So let's take a look at the agenda, and Jen will share what we're going to cover today.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you for introducing us and giving that context. We're also going to share an overview of the myFuture website and what you can expect from that. And then Gemma, who we just met, will then introduce us all to LHH and describe how outplacement support and how their service works. And then we'll explain how you can keep connected and really make the most of the myFuture offer. And we'll finish off just sharing some frequently asked questions and outlining next steps. Just as a reminder, the session today is around myFuture and LHH. We're not specifically covering anything related to the exit process today. If you have questions about your redundancy terms or your notice period, that's not in the scope of what we'll cover. If you do have questions on these topics, please use the contact details that were in your leaver communications to contact P&C services. They've been fully briefed and they're ready to help and support you. This is the homepage of the myFuture website. We just wanted to show you what you will see when you click on the URL that's in your myFuture invitation email. We'll dive into the detail and we'll share an overview of the content behind it in just a moment. But before we do that, we just wanted to make you aware the URL that you received in your email inviting you to myFuture is personal to you, and it's just temporary. It will expire after 30 days. Within the site itself, there is a page called My Choices, where you'll be asked to provide your personal email address, and then you can receive a permanent login. The email also includes information about the offers that are available to you right now, and we will talk more about those soon. Please, if you haven't done so already, then do take a moment to register on this page in the site. This is important that we have your personal email address so we can continue to offer you this support once you've left BP.
So let's
Sarah,
just,
over to you.
Thank you, Jen. So let's just highlight one of the ways that you can stay connected. And this, we really recommend this. This is about our BP alumni page, which is on LinkedIn. And every BP employee, past and present, has inspired our purpose to reimagine energy for people and our planet. So the BP alumni was created for former employees and existing, and we believe that it will be a group of people that will like to stay together as a network. And we currently have over 6,000 members, and those numbers are growing daily. We recognise that the connections and friendships we form at BP are incredibly powerful, and in many ways we're like a family. We want our colleagues to be successful no matter where their career journey takes them. So we've launched the BP alumni community as a way to preserve this lifelong connection, support each other, and stay connected with what's happening at BP. If you have not joined yet, we'd encourage you to do so. So Jen, let's go back to you and focus on the myFuture offerings.
Great, thanks, Sarah. So we just want to go into a bit more detail now about the offerings in the myFuture site so that when you're ready, you can make some really informed choices about the support that's best for you, whatever your next steps are in the future. There are essentially 3 pathways shown on this slide: your next job, supporting you, and broader opportunities. So thinking first about your next job, if you want help to find a next job, this includes access to career coaching, insights and advice that can help you transition in partnership with LHH, who we'll hear about soon. You also have the option here to request that our own internal BP talent acquisition teams support you in your search as well by presenting your profile or resume to companies that are hiring in your region. These are companies that we already have connections with, and we heard recently that talent acquisition are already in contact with Amazon, Aramco, ConocoPhillips, to name a few. And those companies are all very positive about BP employees' skills, and the team are getting ready to share leaver details that they've already been given with those companies.
Thanks, Jen. I'll just describe now what's covered under supporting you. The first part is well-being, and this houses a range of resources, including podcasts, tip sheets, and information about our employee assistance programme and Headspace, which are both available to you up to 12 months after you leave the company. If you've not yet registered for Headspace, please do so before you leave to take full advantage. Here you'll find information about laptop retention, and it will guide you through how to retain your laptop for personal use if this is something you'd like to do. And finally, there's a Learn More section, and this enables you to gain access to Get Abstract and LinkedIn Learning and Microsoft Digital Skill resources. Take a look at the events page as well, which we'll highlight later, because we've also got some Microsoft skills courses that are being run. Jen, over to you for broader opportunities.
Thanks, Sarah. So this third section offers a range of information on broader opportunities. For example, if you're interested in teaching as a pathway, there are videos and information to hear from others who've made this transition. you could explore routes into a teaching profession, which can have a far-reaching impact on the lives of a significant number of people. Alternatively, for careers in the non-profit and social enterprise sector, there are videos and resources to help you understand what happens in those sectors, how to set up your own purposeful organisation, or how to find roles within existing organisations, and look for opportunities to transfer your BP skills, which would be highly valued in this sector. We've also gathered information about non-executive directorship roles, if this is something of interest to you. And there are some insights here from BP and non-BP employees about their experiences in this space. Perhaps starting a business is something you have been thinking about. If it is, you can listen to advice from former BP employees, and you can also connect with experts who can share their own experiences and share their ideas. It may be that you've considered taking a deeper dive into an area of interest through academic research. So again, you can read here about how others have made that transition and take a look at academic job boards. And finally, there's also support to adjust and transition from work if you're wanting to take a break or to retire. We do want to support you after you have left BP and for a significant period thereafter to help you navigate these choices. So the website and all this information will be available to you after you've left. At the moment, it will definitely be there until the end of 2021 and possibly beyond. But we do want you to note that some of the offers within the website do have different expiry dates. So please take a look at the detail within the site. So for example, Get Abstract, which is one of the learning options that Sarah mentioned, that's available for 6 months. EAP and Headspace is available for 12 months. So as I said, please take a look at the details in the website. I'm now going to hand over to Gemma, who will walk us through some slides explaining the LHH offer. Gemma, over to you.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Sarah. I look forward to talking through the service now. So as Sarah and Jen have mentioned, BP and LHH have been partnering together in order to ensure that there is an outplacement support programme to support all of you leaving the business. In this conversation today, I just want to talk you through a couple of things to be able to explain how the service works and how it can help you personally with your transition. So onto the agenda and our purpose of today and sharing this information with you. So there's a very little bit about Lee Hecht Harrison or LHH. There's an explanation of outplacement. Some may never have heard of the service, and so I think it's very important to explain what it is in its simplest form. There's an introduction to services, so a bit of a deep dive into actually what it would feel like to start our service and what you could explore as part of the service, and then how to get started. So in its simplest form, outplacement is a career management and coaching service. And the important thing about explaining what it is that it provides practical and emotional support during times of career change. Jen and Sarah have talked about the caring nature of BP and being able to support you as you leave the organisation. LHH is an extension of that, and we will very most definitely be able to support with the practical side of job searching and moving on, but also the very emotional side of going through some kind of career change. So your coach and the services available to you will be able to support in a very holistic way. This is the only slide I talk about LHH, and I think the important thing about explaining who we are and our breadth globally is the fact that you can trust that BP are partnering with a global trusted partner. We support over 500,000 people a year globally, and we have 400 offices globally where we're supporting BP in many. This does mean that if you are looking to understand if you're looking to move to another country, your program is able to be moved, and consistently you will be able to receive the same service in most of the other countries around the world. We support and have supported since March, in our virtual world that we're currently living in, 60,000 hours worth of virtual coaching and workshops, which just means that we are able to support you in the virtual world and the pandemic that we're going through at the moment with the full service I'm about to talk you through. So many of you will be thinking about the job search landscape today and wondering what you need to do in order to make your next move, what's important. And so these are some of the statistics I wanted to share with you. 97% of recruiters are using LinkedIn, and 93% of companies are as well. The other statistic around this is that 70% have turned down candidates based on online image. The thing to take away from these statistics are that whether you have a fantastic LinkedIn profile or you really haven't paid much attention to your LinkedIn profile, that's okay. LHH will be able to support you from where you are personally, right from the beginning of your program, to ensure that you are noticed and that your LinkedIn profile is perfect for you and that you're confident with that, so that those organizations are able to see you. The other statistic here I wanted to share is around networking. So 8% of positions were landed through job board applications, and 70% were landed through networking, and this is increasing more and more. Networking can sometimes be something quite scary to most people. However, actually LHH can support straight away with understanding and breaking down what networking is and how we can support you to be able to leverage your network to be part of that 70%. Our service, as we've gone through this pandemic, has changed. It's fully virtual now, as you'd expect. However, we've been listening to our candidates as we've been learning as well. And a few things have changed, and we continue to change and listen. The adaptations we've made to our service are around resilience. Individuals are asking for more personal resilience support. And so we have increased our webinars, our virtual classrooms, on how to support individuals with their resiliency and their resiliency within job search strategies, not just personal. Webinar content is updated weekly with latest hiring trends and market information in your country. So you will get to understand hiring trends and how that can support you moving into the roles or the sectors that you might be looking into. Nowadays, we're now interviewing via a virtual platform. And so that has changed for many. The preparation that we need has changed, and also understanding how to come across in the best possible way virtually. And LHH can support in many different ways to make you feel as confident and comfortable with a virtual interview as possible. A very big part of our service, and as we just saw in the last statistic, around that 70%, is around networking, supporting you to actually start to have conversations with people, with peers, with individuals, other candidates going through our service, but also your other wider network that you already have. And then our CRN, which is our online platform, also has more relevant links to our LinkedIn learning content to be able to support in these unprecedented times. The other part of our service is a connection to jobs. LHH is not a recruiter. However, many bits of our service do support connecting you to the jobs out there, to hiring managers, to talent acquisition teams. Our support is all done virtually now. We are part of the Adecco group, and so where possible, we will partner with the Adecco group, who have many other recruitment firms under them to be able to support you. We have talent promotion events highlighting specific employers to build pipeline, and then bi-weekly job bulletins for candidates to be able to support you with the knowledge and understanding as to what's happening out in the job market, and sharing stories of individuals who have been successful and what has made them successful can also help you. So you may be wondering why you need a career transition or outplacement program to help you find a new job. And these are just 5 very simple ways. There are many, many more ways that LHH can help. But the first is around creating a CV that gets you selected. CV is sometimes the headache at the beginning of looking for a job, and LHH will take that headache away to make you feel confident and comfortable with the CV that you have and how you can actually change that CV for the different roles that you want to go for. Learning techniques to access the hiring managers and the hidden job market LHH can support with. And then as part of your service, you will receive access to a coach who will be able to give you local market knowledge and be able to be your support. Right at the beginning, we talked about the practical and the emotional side of outplacement, and that coach will be able to listen and give you advice whenever you're feeling emotional, or whether you just want some practical advice about an interview you might have, for example. The support can help you create a professional online brand, that LinkedIn profile that we talked about earlier and the importance of it, and then excel at interviews, even the tough ones. When you get the interviews you really want, LHH can support to make sure that you're going for those interviews feeling confident. So there are 3 pillars, if you like, in the way that our service is split out. So the first is we support with your brand. That's how you come across to the market. So your CV, your LinkedIn profile, and then once you're ready and happy with your CV, we would then be able to put your profile onto a digital talent exchange, which is a portal that's viewed by hiring managers, talent acquisition teams, and recruiters around the world. The other pillar is around coaching. Your coach is dedicated to you and is dedicated to supporting with whatever you need support on, whether that's career decision making, you might want to make another move, an interview, you have one coming up and you just really want to understand how you can be as successful as possible, or maybe that you found your role and that coach can then support you in your first 90 days in your new role. The third pillar is around connecting. We've talked about the connections to jobs, but as I go through this slide deck today, I'll be able to talk to you about the many ways that LHH can connect you and allow you to see the roles out there as easily as possible. So at the heart of our service is coaching. The coach can support you with whatever you're going through and however you're feeling. And then around this image, the heart in the middle, which is the coach, is the rest of the service that you have access to. So offices, obviously, for many at the moment are not available. However, for some countries they are. Job search work teams and networking, job connection events, learning events, reskilling and upskilling in order to support maybe with those skills gaps that you require in order to move on to another role. Virtual career fairs, another way of connecting you to hiring managers. Interview centre to be able to support you to feel as confident in those interviews ahead of them. You'll have an AI-powered digital career agent. And then all of this is resourced on our CRN, our Career Resource Network. So I'd just like to take you now through the engagement process. And the engagement process is from you getting started all the way through to using the service and finally ending the service. So a typical candidate journey, and today we'll say that that's Sarah, the candidate. Sarah, once she has had her information shared with LHH, an LHH engager will contact Sarah to explain her career transition or outplacement program. And that engager will be able to answer any of Sarah's questions. The engager will then find out when Sarah wants to start her program. And when she's ready, they book a meeting with Sarah's personal career coach. Now, the role of the coach is to be able to support with whatever Sarah may need. Sarah may need to look at a different role. She may be interested in doing something completely different. And therefore, that conversation is going to be different with each individual. At the top left-hand corner, the coach will look to understand Sarah. Does Sarah want some stability? Does she not know what she wants next? Or actually, may she be very clear in her next step? This will start to create the journeys that Sarah is going to take as part of our service. On the right-hand side here, you will also see Sarah in the middle and the opportunities or the options that Sarah may have to explore as part of the service. So Sarah may want to go for the similar job because she's really happy doing what she's been doing. However, she may also want to explore self-employment. This is a perfect opportunity of where the coach can be able to support 2 journeys with Sarah, and the LHH service can be able to support as well. There are lots of other opportunities that individuals can explore with the service around a complete career shift, retraining, education, retiring, portfolio career, or exploring all options in order to be really confident with the next decision that the individual makes with regards to their career. LHH's outplacement support is very much an opportunity to sit back and actually think with a coach what's going to make you happy next for your next step of your career. So once you've had your first conversation with your coach, you can then access the CRN, which is our online portal. So the online portal houses all of the information and resources that you have access to as part of your service. So on the next slide, what we'll do is we'll start to introduce you to the CRN, what it looks like and how it feels for you and how you can navigate it. So the CRN is very easy to use. You'll see on the right-hand corner here, you'll meet Ella. Ella will pop up and she will introduce herself and look to understand exactly what you're looking for from a role or from your next roles. You will then be able to insert the information that you're looking for and the types of roles you're looking for. And Ella will then be able to go out and from all of the different job boards in your country, she will be able to then take all of the different roles from the job boards and bring them back to you to the CRN. This means that that hard work of looking at different job boards is taken away from you and that you will just have one place to be able to look at those roles available to you. And Ella will support when you might change that role or when you might want to look for something different. Ella will be there to help you. Also, the conversations you've been having with your coach will be able to support you with regards to the different career choices you look to take. Ella will be able to support you as well as your kind of virtual AI coach to be able to highlight different blogs, articles, to be able to suggest you attend different workshops, etc. And also, as we just talked about, keep highlighting the roles so that they're at front and center of your mind. The CRN is also easy to navigate by subject. And so there might be something when you start your service with us that you really want to focus on, be that your CV, your branding, your interviewing. It's very easy to just dive into each of these areas, browse by subject, and then be able to see all of the resources available to you in those areas. There will be virtual classrooms, self-paced learning with regards to webinars, written resources, examples such as CVs for you to be able to look at, and podcasts, depending on how you like to learn. So Sarah's brand, once she has started the service, she's met with her coach, she's also spoken with a personal branding specialist potentially about her CV and her LinkedIn profile. That then means that they are discoverable in just days via our digital talent exchange. As I mentioned earlier, that portal is then visible by thousands of talent acquisition professionals around the world to be able to see your CV, and then if they wanted to get in contact with you, they can then just get in contact with you in order to start a conversation. We talked about the difference today in interviewing and the fact that we are living in this virtual world. Now, for many, this is a completely new thing, and the interview centre is there to be able to support you with practicing ahead of those big interviews. You're able to go into the interview centre, and it's a simulator to be able to take you through a simulation of an interview for you to be able to then watch yourself back on how you answer questions. What's your body language looking like? What are the words you're choosing? And you can work with your coach so that you then feel confident practicing before those big interviews come. The Learning Centre is another part of our service that you'll have access to. And this is around virtual classrooms, so live and recorded. Here there are just some examples of a couple of different classrooms that are taking place. Navigating change and uncertainty, first 90 days enroll, and then your orientation or creative networking groups. So you're able to just use these classrooms to be able to learn, attend, and register as and when you feel ready. Another big part of the service is around skills development. So you might be looking to do something completely new in your next role. And so there may be a few skills gaps that you want to work on. You have access to LinkedIn Learning as part of the service, and General Assembly as part of a digital reskilling focus as well. So how do you get started? You're eligible to begin LHH services upon receiving notification from BP. As we talked about with Sarah, the LHH engagement team will reach out to you once we've received authorization from BP. And the engagement team will look to get you started with your coach, submit your CV to give you access to the CRN, or potentially there may be an event that you may want to join. You have 6 months to begin your services from your departure date, and your details about your specific program with LHH can be found in BP's myHR web pages. Please watch for an email from LHH to start your services. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Gemma, for describing that comprehensive offer from LHH. We're nearing the end of this webinar now, but before we do, we just want to highlight a few other areas that we'd like you to take attention to. So on the next slide, we have our myFuture events page from the website. And as part of the offer of myFuture, we've partnered with internal and external experts and are offering a range of events that you can sign up for. We encourage you to review the events, see what's most relevant to you, and then register your interest on these pages. You'll then get sent confirmation of the details. In the My Choices page, as Jen mentioned earlier, you can sign up for the newsletter. And this at the moment is proving to be one of our most popular options. There is also an FAQ page to address the key questions that have come up. And this page also includes the regional P&C service centres. So if you have any questions, you can direct them to them at any time. So before we conclude, we thought it would be useful to highlight a few questions and answers that relate to myFuture. So the first question was around how long can we use the myFuture services, and can I take a break for a few months and then use them?
Thanks, Sarah. So you can access the myFuture website until at least the end of 2021. And it's up to you how you use the offers there in that time. And as I mentioned earlier, some of the offers are available for a limited time. So please take a look at the details in the website of the offers that you're interested in to make sure that you don't miss out.
Great, thanks, Jen. Another popular question was around temporary employees and are they eligible for myFuture and the BP alumni?
So temporary employees are not eligible for the myFuture or LHH offer, but the BP alumni is open to everyone.
Great, thank you. And what level of outplacement support will we get? You know, does that level of support depend on how many years service you have at BP? And what do you get and how does it work and when does it start? I know Gemma's touched on a little bit of that.
So great question, Sarah. So the period of support does vary, and it actually varies according to your grade. So what we'd advise is to take a look on the myHR pages. Gemma mentioned those as well, and there you'll see how long the offer applies to you. And in terms of when it starts, it begins when you activate the outplacement support. So as Gemma mentioned, LHH in your country will send you an initial email and perhaps follow that up with a conversation. Your outplacement is activated when you have your first session with your engager or your coach, and then continues for the period that's determined by your grade after that initial conversation.
Great, thanks, Jen. And finally, one of the questions was around, can I defer the use of my outplacement support, including that orientation session, or do I have to use it within the first 3 months of my leaving date from BP?
Yeah, so you can defer. So you can defer your support from LHH up to 6 months after you leave BP. So for example, if you're leaving BP and you want to wait a month or two to have a bit of a break before you start thinking about your next steps, then you could activate your support from LHH, say a month or so after. So up to 6 months after your leave date. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks so much, Jen. So finally, I hope you found this session useful. As we said at the beginning, we know this is a really challenging time and we're doing all we possibly can to support you. We hope that the myFuture offer and our partnership with LHH will be helpful to you. So please take advantage of it and please make the most of the excellent services provided because they're no cost to you. Finally, thank you so much for taking time to listen to this webinar. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.